Hello there, Atheist Junior here, your friend and humble narrator. And today we're going to be doing a debate review of a debate I saw recently between Dennis Prager and Anna Kasparian. So, if you don't know, Dennis Prager is an American conservative radio talk show host and a writer. And in 2009, he founded the YouTube channel PragerU. It's just a YouTube channel, it is not a university, despite what they claim. and and Anna Kasparian is a media host. She's a progressive political commentator and a journalist, and she is the one of the hosts and producers of the Young Turks. Now, the Young Turks is also on YouTube, and I have not watched the Young Turks in years. I used to be a big fan, but I felt that Cenk Uygur kind of just ruined the show, just kind of ran it into the ground. But I turned on this debate out of curiosity the other day, and I found myself really rooting for Anna, like big time. I thought she really did a great job here, and yeah, let's just get into it. Oh, 1 second.
We ache to have them on our shows. We ache to debate them, but they won't debate us and they won't come on our shows and they won't have us on their shows. I have offered tens of thousands of dollars to any left-wing columnist on the New York Times to debate me anywhere they want. They could choose the moderator. They could choose the audience, and serious money.
Joining us now is Dennis Prager, the man you just saw in that video. And Dennis, I guess you could call TYT acetaminophen because we don't want you to ache. We want
Got him.
to make sure we give you an opportunity to feel good by debating someone on the left.
Funny, because I was thinking, if only you were a New York Times columnist, how much money you'd be making now.
Well, I'm a little more honest than a New York Times columnist.
Wait a minute. Did he not say any left-wing outlet would be paid? He didn't say you have to be from, what did he say, the New York Times? That's kind of lame.
So this will be a great conversation. Thank you for doing it. So I wanted to.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So I wanted to just kind of start off with, I guess, disagreeing with the notion that the left is afraid to have these kinds of discussions or debates. In fact, you had tweeted that video that we started this conversation with, and there were a lot of responses from prominent individuals on the left. I want to give you a few examples, starting with Vosh, who's a big Twitch streamer. He's got a big YouTube channel as well. He says, "You couldn't be more wrong. I love spirited debate in the free marketplace of ideas." He even provided his email and would love to have that conversation with you. My good friend Ben Burgess also responded. He's a great guy. He says, "Hi Dennis, I'd be delighted to chat with you either on my show or you could host it through PragerU, or I'm sure Modern Day Debate or some other neutral platform would be happy to host it." And on multiple occasions, I noticed that Sam Cedar would also love to debate you. So he responded in that tweet as well, saying available and adding Tim Pool knows what lengths he would go to not even be on the same stage as me, right, Tim? So there's some drama with Tim Pool, but just wanted to let you know you don't have to ache anymore. There are lots of people on the left who want to debate you.
Oh, I have no doubt that there are a lot of people on the left. The issue that I raised was people.
You have no doubt. She just showed in that clip you saying the exact opposite. So
At the New York Times, and people like you, for example, you pleasantly surprised me by doing this, to be perfectly honest. And by the way, I think proof of my theory is a piece that I read on some left-wing or progressive site just today about how angry many of your viewers are that you're having me on. Whereas I will tell you, I would get no such feedback from the right if I had a left-wing person on my show. They would be thrilled. So I still stand by my belief that in general, the people, certainly in the higher echelons of the left, don't want to debate.
Oops. I mean, drop my stream deck. I mean, I feel like when you have programs like Steven Crowder and Charlie Kirk and Alex Jones and Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro, I'm glad that there is I'm glad that there are also liberal or leftist equivalents on YouTube. Even if I don't agree with everything they say, I certainly align more with the Young Turks than I do with this frogman. So I think I agree with some of the people in the chat that, Anna has said some things in the past I really didn't like, but I certainly am on her side in this exchange.
But it's probably not worth debating whether there would be such a debate. I presume we're having one now.
Yes,
and
yes.
I'm glad we are.
Well, look, the left isn't a monolith. There's a lot of disagreement on the left. There's certainly a lot of disagreement on things that I say on this show on various issues, even when it comes to crime. I'm sure you've noticed some of the backlash I've received in that regard as well. However, I will say there is a reason why the right wing tends to be more open to having these kinds of discussions and debates, and the left wing gets a little uneasy about it. And it's because there has been this prevalence of prominent figures who identify as the left, right, or on the left, who then later start to, cozy up to right-wing figures, and then it turns out that they completely move to the right wing because they're essentially paid to do it.
I think she's subtweeting her former co-host Dave Rubin, not so subtly here, because Dave Rubin he used to be on the Young Turks back when I watched it, and I really enjoyed seeing him on there, but he famously left to form his own show, which started off, I think, on the right foot, but exactly like she's saying, got more and more hosting people like Lauren Southern and Stefan Molyneux. And then, next thing you know, there's a clip of Lauren Southern on there, and they're talking about how, there aren't really Nazis walking around. There aren't really people with swastika tattoos walking around. Like, it's not like Nazis. It's not a thing. Flash forward to 2 months later, and then Charlottesville happens. It's like, oops, we were wrong. Someone died. We should just shut up forever. But that won't happen.
They're used as tools by the right wing to essentially spew right-wing talking points while purporting to still be on the left. In fact, Dave Rubin's a great example of that. Dave Rubin.
Okay, fair enough. She just blatantly called him out. Okay, that's funny.
Used to work with us. He identified as someone on the left.
Dave,
yeah, go ahead.
Forgive me, Anna. Dave Rubin made a video for PragerU, Why I Left the Left.
Oh, I know.
He does not, in fact, state to the world that he's still on the left. I don't know who you have in mind, so I can only address the one name that you gave. Dave Rubin acknowledges he's not on the left.
It's interesting because if I recall correctly, you had a conversation with Dave Rubin and how incredibly important it was that he was engaging in these discussions with you, discussions with the right wing, and you stated something very specific. I actually want to go to that video and I want to get your thoughts. Maybe you can elaborate on what you meant in this video. Let's watch.
I want you to continue to say you're a liberal because you're of great use to good values.
Well, don't worry, I'm not doing it for your use of me. I'm doing it for myself.
No. It's like Christians who say to me, oh, we would love you to come to Christ, but you are so valuable to us as a Jew when you defend us Christians. Yeah. And they're right. You are valuable in the best sense of the word because America needs people who are clearly liberal and to be honest, and fall into the category of kosher as gay, to say, hey, hello, the conservatives are not hate mongers. Hello, they should be heard. And maybe every so often you should read National Review, or watch a PragerU video.
So, Mr. Prager, you can understand why members of the left would feel a little uneasy when these discussions take place, because usually it's a sign that someone on the left got lured in with some billionaire cash, like Dave Rubin did.
Okay. Well, that's an unfair statement. I don't accuse people on the left of having their positions because of money, and I don't think you should do that with regard to conservatives. Alan Dershowitz has...
Dude, PragerU is literally financed by the Koch brothers.
Is not a right-winger, but Alan Dershowitz has said to me, this Harvard professor who's very well known, he's lost all his friends because he defended Donald Trump in court. He didn't even vote for Donald Trump. Just merely defending his right to have a defense was enough for him to lose his friends. The assumption on the left is that if you're a conservative, you're a despicable human being. And this is a perfect example. The only reason Dave Rubin would have done it was for money. I don't know anybody on my side of the spectrum who holds their positions because of money.
Dude. Man, he just lies blatantly, just completely lies.
There's a hell of a lot more money on the left anyway.
Oh, he said hell. That is not true. That is not true. What happened to get woke, go broke? I thought the left was broke.
Really?
If you want to get
money,
how
is PragerU funded?
The Washington Post.
How is PragerU
funded?
The
Washington Post. by people on the internet and by wealthy donors. But PragerU is pittance compared to the money that is available just to BLM. How much money was given to Black Lives Matter by the Ford
Not by
Foundation
billionaire donors.
Rockefeller
They certainly received quite a bit of money from individuals who wanted to donate to that cause.
Okay.
But if you think there's a lot of money,
dude, he got so embarrassed when she said that. He's turning red.
On the left, I mean, you would be mistaken. But I do want to move off this because there are actual topics, issues that are worth discussing.
The richest zip codes vote Democrat. The wealth today in America is disproportionately on behalf of Democrats on the left wing. That's either a fact or not. Anybody could look it up.
There's a difference between voters in wealthy parts of the country and who ends up serving as donors, both for politicians, corporate politicians, of course, and for right-wing media. If you think left-wing media has major billionaire donors, again, you'd sadly be mistaken. But the information regarding PragerU, which, by the way, you're listed as an organization that's tax exempt, correct? And you're not supposed to be talking about political issues. But last time I checked, PragerU talks about a lot.
True. PragerU is listed as a 501c3.
A lot of political issues.
Well, then you haven't checked in a long time. For example, we never did a single.
I literally just went on PragerU's site yesterday, and there's a pop-up where they want you to donate, and it specifically says that PragerU is a 501c3.
Single video on Donald Trump, and that's not exactly political. We just did we put out a video.
How is anything about Donald Trump not political? He was president. He was the fucking president.
A week. So we have 500 videos out about, and we just put out one on Millard Fillmore. If you consider that political,
riveting.
Most people never heard of it. We're doing every single president. Many of our
presidents are politicians.
Videos, probably at least half, are purely educational. So to tell you about every president, for example, Democrat or Republican, by some noted historian.
Okay, I just watched a video yesterday on PragerU that was about critical race theory, and the video was awful. It was just completely nothing but just claims that were not backed up with any type of statistic or quote or anything. It was just claims about critical race theory. And the video at the end, they were specifically telling you not to vote for people who will allow it to get into the school curriculum. The video was, that was the goal of the video. They were specifically telling people to not allow it to be put into school curriculums by voting against or voting for politicians on the right who will block this stuff.
It's a caricature of PragerU for you to say that we are largely political.
PragerU describes itself as conservative. Like it's a conservative take, which by the nature of it being conservative is political. Yeah. But listen, it is what it is. I do want to move on to other issues because there are actual political issues that you're here to discuss.
You can't make a point and then not let me respond.
Okay,
forgive me. Yes, you can be conservative, for example, socially, and not specifically. Politically generally means vote Republican. We don't tell people to vote anyway in any direction.
That is a lie. That is a lie.
But yes, we do believe that America is the finest country ever founded. If that makes us political, we're political.
So I want to move on to other statements you've made, other issues. You know, you do focus on culture war related issues, your distaste, hatred for secularism. I want to start off without putting words in your mouth. I'm gonna show a video of something you said just yesterday on the Dennis Prager show that I thought was fascinating. So let's take a look at that and we'll discuss.
The computer sticker phenomenon is crazy. It was actually one of the biggest shocks I had.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
On your computer right here, people, instead of just having a blank back.
Oh, I see.
They would
have messages.
Yes. It would either be.
And what was the common message?
I heart women, or just the female sign, you know, the circle and the arrow.
I heart women on a woman's computer?
Yes.
All of this is proof to me that women need men.
The circle and the arrow is the symbol for men.
Women are manless. They may have hookups, but they're manless. And they might have been fatherless too. Ending with my generation, I would say, ending with the baby boomers, but certainly through then, a young woman thought a lot about, do I have a boyfriend? Mm-hmm. What will my wedding be like? What will I wear? Who will be there? Who will the guy be? That I believe is healthy and normal for a young woman. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. That has been knocked out by the feminist left. And if you think about it, you're a weak female.
So fascinating statements there. You seem to believe that women who love themselves, who love women, who feel confident about being women, tend to be manless and lonely. Do you genuinely think that? Do you think I'm manless and lonely? I think women rock.
I said that in general.
Do you think I'm manless and lonely?
Women need men, and I've said 1,000 times that in general, men need women. The fact that that's controversial is a statement about what's happened to our culture.
But you got triggered by a story about women who have laptop stickers that just say positive things about women. Your mind immediately went to, they might have daddy issues and they're lonely, they need men. I want to understand your thinking. Like, okay, how do you get to that conclusion?
It's if you had a heterosexual man, with 97% of men are heterosexual, with a sticker, I love men, you would wonder why. Why don't men have stickers, I love men, but you think it's perfectly normal and a non-issue that women would have stickers, I love women?
It's literally a non-issue. I can't think of anything like less important than somebody's sticker choice.
What is the point of saying that? it is worthy of a question. What? And I don't think that 50 years ago this would have been, obviously there were no laptops then, but I don't think it would have been a common sentiment. I don't understand why women would need to announce I love women if they're not a gay woman. You tell me, I'm curious. What does that signify?
Well, I mean, listen, as an individual who values free speech and freedom of expression, I think that women and men can have whatever laptop stickers they want. And the reason why there is a difference between men and women in regard to those laptop stickers is because, I mean, when you really think about it, women didn't have the right to vote for a very long time. Women didn't even have the ability to apply for a credit card until the 1970s. There have been equality issues when it comes to men and women. Now, we're getting a lot better, that's for sure. But first of all, I don't agree that women have laptop stickers that just simply say, I love women. It's probably some sort of empowering statement for women, but that doesn't mean, that doesn't translate to, oh, I'm a lonely, manless person, and I should go back to the good old days when women sat around thinking about whether or not they're gonna find a husband and get married.
Yeah, and I like how earlier he complained about conservatives being stereotyped as all being one way. And then he's assuming, based on somebody's choice of laptop sticker, that, you know, oh, well, this woman is likely a feminist. Feminists are all manless and lonely, and they are unattractive physically, and they yell at me, and they scare me, and they make my pee-pee small.
You seem to push your values and your views on relationships onto other people. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is, rather than making generalizations about what's best for women, maybe allow people to live their lives as they see fit, have a belief system as they see fit. Why do you feel the need to force your beliefs onto other people? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, okay, I don't understand the word force.
I mean,
the fact that you think that if I offer my opinion, I'm forcing people to adopt it is a bit odd.
You don't believe that America should be secular, so what does that mean?
Wait. Let me finish that point.
Sure, go ahead.
I believe that I have the right, as you do, to offer people thoughts on what might be a better and happier life for them. I've written a book on happiness, which has touched a lot of lives. If one wants to read the reviews,
I'll give you a break
on Amazon. I believe, again, that in general, of course, every generalization has exceptions. Most women will have a better and happier life with a good man, and most men will have a happier and better life with a good woman. I don't know why that is controversial to state. All I know is that having adopted the view that career is more important than...
I mean, people generally will be more happy if they have a partner. I mean, so many people get divorced though. So I think if they meet the right woman or man, yeah, sure. But there's nothing inherently wrong with being single. And being single is not, I don't think it should be seen with the stigma it has as just a transitionary period between relationships. Like, oh, if somebody got dumped, well, like now I'm single. Well, now I'm in a worse state than I was, and I can't be happy or fulfilled again until I get into my next relationship. No, it's just a different part of your life. One is not inherently better than the other. One doesn't make you a better person than the other. But I think in our society, it is looked down upon, or it's looked on in a way that it's, unfortunate if you're not in a relationship. People look at it that way, or people feel bad about themselves. if they're
marriage
not.
has led to more depressed women than anything that preceded it. There are more young women today depressed than at any time in American history. This is in the New York Times. This is not from a right-wing source. I think feminism has made women more miserable than happy.
So I'm going to address that in just a second, but I want to address what you said prior to that very quickly. So listen, I don't have a problem with someone saying women are likely to be happier in life if they find a partner to share their life with. I don't think that that's a controversial statement. What
Is this man blinking Morse code? Like, I know I blink a lot in my videos. It's because I have really bright lights on and it's kind of just hard for me not to, but this man is blinking like every nanosecond.
controversial is you seeming to imply that feeling confident or supportive toward women.
I can't.
And
now I can't. I'm not even listening to what she's saying. I can't stop focusing on it now.
being happy, single or in a relationship, that it's mutually exclusive. Like you can't be supportive of women and have
Is he speeding up?
a happy life. Like the weird connection that you tried to make there makes no sense. What was the final thing that you said?
I was speaking about the depression among
Yes.
women in today's time.
That's a great point. And you know what? That's right. There's actually increasing rates of depression and anxiety among men and women. I think that's important to point out. And you are concluding that it's because of, I guess, the breakdown of the traditional family, is that people
right.
who
I think
remain
it's a big
single.
factor. I think that the belief that many young women have that if they find a man, that's a great thing, but the thing that will really bring them joy in life is career, has misled massive numbers of women into a less happy life. Career is not as terrific as the feminists portrayed it as being.
But I mean, the word career is such a vague term, though. Like, career can mean so many different things. Like, people do YouTube as a career. I mean, I think when he's using the word career, he's framing it as, oh, now women are wearing business suits and they're working 80 hours a week and they're trying to work like men in the 60s used to, and they're all miserable because of that. No, career can mean a ton of different things. And I don't know why it has to be mutually exclusive, that you either have a family and a relationship, or a woman can have that, or she can have a career. And like, again, he's just speaking in generalizations, that having a career is making women miserable. I mean, a lot of people don't like their jobs, but the amount of inflation in our country is so high that people have to work.
Mm-hmm.
The joy available for most women with a good husband and making a family is incomparably more than from a career.
Have you considered some of the economic issues within this country that don't really give women a choice as to whether or not they should focus on a career?
That's a very real issue. I fully acknowledge that. That if you don't have a career to fall back on and there's a divorce, that you're entirely right. That is not the same thing as saying career.
Yeah, he only if they were already married and they get a divorce, he has to frame it like that.
Career is going to give you a great deal of meaning.
He said rear.
And happiness like a marriage will. You're entirely right. Economically speaking, there is value in having a fallback career. I fully acknowledge that.
But I'm going further than that, because the idea that a family can live in a single income household today is laughable. That is incredibly difficult to do. And so while the right wing and you yourself seem to have this idea that, well, women should focus on marriage, they should focus on building a family. First of all, you can't force anyone to do that, right? But let's say you want to encourage women to focus on that.
Can I just say, her hair is beautiful.
You want to give them the choice, but you want to encourage them. A great way to encourage them is to create an economic system in which people feel comfortable knowing that they can survive on a single income household. I'm talking about when they're married, okay? Both individuals in a marriage have to work in order to be able to pay their rent, pay their mortgage, put food on the table for their children, educate their children. Wages have remained stagnant since the 1970s. Women don't have a choice as to whether or not they can work or whether or not they should just focus on raising children. They don't have the choice. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right, and we differ on that because the reason that many women, not all, but perhaps most even,
boy, if looks could kill,
are working is not just economic, especially certainly in the upper class, upper middle class, and even part of the middle class. It is because they believe that their self-worth derives more from work than it does from family. If a girl got up in a high school or college class, let's say a professor or a teacher said, so women, I mean, to the extent that they can now say that, because you can't say boys and girls in many elementary schools.
Bullshit. Citation.
Because we're told by your side that sex is not binary. But let's say they say, we'd like the women in this class, please stand up and tell us what your vision for your life is. If a girl got up in a college,
because that happens, right? Please get up and tell all these strangers what you plan to do with the rest of your life.
Class and said, you know, to be honest, my greatest hope in life is for a good marriage and to make a family. She would be regarded as almost a freak.
Would she? I mean, what is that based on?
Yes,
what evidence do you have to back that up?
I live in the real world.
So do I.
Okay, and you believe that if a girl got up and said that, she would be regarded with the same respect as the girl who said, I'd like to be a physicist?
I don't think people would care. I mean, you guys have been in college classes before, and they always make you do those stupid exercises where you get to know the other people in the class the first day. Does anybody care? Does anybody like doing those? No, you just do it and nobody's paying attention. Nobody wants to do it and nobody remembers what the other people say. Nobody would care.
I believe that most normal people are too busy thinking about how they need to survive and are less concerned about the aspirations of individuals in their classroom. And so if you have data backing up that women who want to be homemakers are persecuted in this country, I'd love to see that data. And I wouldn't agree with that persecution.
I never said they're persecuted.
You seem to imply that they're being victimized by wanting to be homemakers, and I just don't buy it.
Okay, fine, so good. This is a classic example of what I say on my radio show. I prefer clarity to agreement. You think that a girl who got up in a college class and said my most fervent dream is to have a happy marriage and a family will be regarded with the same respect as a girl who said I would like to be a physician or a physicist?
Who cares about the respect of other classmates? Like, they don't know this person. They don't know if what they're saying has any validity to it. I mean, if you heard somebody say, I want to be a physicist, becoming a physicist is incredibly difficult. Getting a degree in physics is extremely hard. I think most people would say, okay, well, good luck with that. You know what I mean? I would probably have more respect for the person saying, I want to be a homemaker, because I say, you know, I think, well, it's good to set realistic goals for yourself. And of course, I totally support the idea of any woman or young girl saying, I want to get into a STEM field or I want to be a physicist. But I'm just speaking generally what people who don't know this person would probably think. Oh, well, you know, good luck with that.
We differ. Perfect. Okay.
All right. And again, if you have data backing up what you're saying, then I'm happy to admit I'm wrong.
What does it mean, data? The teachers don't do this and then set into a computer.
So you're just declaring, you're making up stories about how women are treated in the classroom, and we're just supposed to buy it? Okay.
We're each giving the perception of reality that we have.
Okay. And yours is bullshit.
Not every perception of reality has a database. Otherwise, one is a functional moron. If
he looks kind of angry.
One cannot make conclusions about life without data.
I'm feeling kind of violated just by his presence on the screen. I feel like I need a rape whistle.
Okay, all right. So let's move on to right-wing violence. Following the Buffalo supermarket shooting, which of course was inspired by a belief in a conspiracy theory that whites are being replaced with minorities in this country purposely to keep Democrats in power, you felt the need to kind of downplay right-wing extremism in this country. And you said, quote, "This man represents such an infinitesimally small segment of the white population." Now, while that statement might be literally true, I don't think that the white population in America mostly consists of domestic terrorists, so I agree with you on that. It seems like you kind of want to brush aside the very real problem we're having in this country with political violence, politically motivated violence, and I want to give you a few other examples. For instance, the Southern Poverty Law Center did a poll and found that 7 out of 10 Republican voters believe in that white replacement conspiracy theory. Are you concerned about that at all?
Right now, we have had, I believe, 2 million illegal immigrants, and the Democratic president of the United States has opened our border. There was attempt to close the border to illegal immigration. So I will ask you, and I mean this is not even as a challenge, I'm curious, why do you think people on the left want millions of people to come in legally or illegally?
Well, let's first discuss the inaccuracies in your statement. Number one, there are legal means to immigrate into the United States. So for instance, the asylum seekers who are being used as political pawns by people like Texas Governor Greg Abbott, I'm not done, or Florida's
Boo, boo, Greg Abbott, boo.
Governor Ron DeSantis, they came into this country seeking asylum, meaning they are here legally and they are awaiting a federal judge, an immigration judge, to make.
Okay, I'm gonna read this comment for Big Bad Mama. It says, ultimately, this issue and others like guns are deflecting from massive corporate militarism, climate change, and wealth inequality between the classes. Prager won't talk about those issues. Yeah, I feel like a lot of times the debate about immigration is maybe missing the forest for the trees, because I feel like they're focusing so much on how do we stop the issue of people being able to get into the United States illegally, when I'm thinking, how about we put energy into making it so these countries are actually a better place to live, so people aren't so willing to leave and risk crossing a desert and risk dying of thirst just to get just for a chance to get into the United States, because living in Mexico or living in South America has such a high crime rate, or they're facing violence, or political violence, persecution, whatever. And so they're willing to come to the United States. Why aren't we working with these governments to try and improve the state of these countries and fix the major problem, rather than just endlessly trying to treat the symptom? You know? I don't know.
Make a decision about their asylum status. Okay. So the idea that the border is open and people are just pouring in illegally is inaccurate.
Yes, they are. No, it is accurate.
No, it's inaccurate.
Good. So this is a perfect example of where we differ, and there's no reconciling. Either you're right or I'm right. Either millions are coming in illegally, but whom you are calling legal because they're all seeking asylum. Do I hear you correctly?
We have a system in place for asylum seekers. So are you saying that we should do away with that system? And if you are saying that, then it would require members of Congress to pass legislation that reforms our immigration system. But I mean, I think you'll agree with the statement, members of Congress have no interest in passing any legislation.
I agree with that. Another additional point I would like to add is that, you know, conservatives love to complain about illegal immigrants, but part of the reason that people choose to come into America legally is because if they want to go the legal route, sometimes it can take up to a decade to become a U.S. citizen legally, and it's much faster to just cross illegally. And sometimes people can't wait that long. You know, sometimes they have families or they have small children, and they can't wait that long. So that needs to be reformed. If you make that process more streamlined, by definition, you'll have less people who are wanting to do it illegally.
Are engaging in any immigration reform. We have companies and businesses that are exploiting undocumented immigrants for cheap labor, and they have no recourse. That exists. But they love the theater. Members of Congress love the theater.
For the record, I spit on corporations.
Oops. I still have my objection button from the court stream. Hey, maybe I'll use it.
They are woke and they are abusive of labor at the same time.
Okay. All right, we have a super chat from Stacy C for $5. It says, "Sorry I'm late, but I've seen this debate and I'm excited to restart to get all of your thoughts on it." Well, thank you, Stacy. I'm glad you made it to the stream.
So you're not going to get any defense from me or any conservative of big corporations. I can't stand them.
What? What? Dude.
The fact that Disney will not even allow people at their amusement parks to say boys and girls anymore gives you an idea of how sick they have become in the wokeness of this non-binary evil. And
yeah, Disney is so woke. That's why they edit out gay kisses from their movies for the Chinese market, because they make more money that way. Okay. This is the face I make when I hear Dennis Prager.
I do believe is evil. To tell little children you don't know if you're a boy or a girl until you decide. Do you think that's healthy?
I think it's unhealthy to spend the amount of time you spend in judging decisions that parents make about their own children. I think it's none of your business. I don't think it's anyone's business. And schools are not doing anything close to what the right wing is describing. I mean, it is amazing because you talk about Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah, just yesterday, Republicans signed a bill, the Stop the Sexualization of Children Act. Great name. That would basically, it basically says that any federal funding that's going to like a school that talks about transgender people to children that are under the age of like 11, or libraries that do drag queen story hour, that they're going to get their federal funding cut off, that those teachers can be fired. Like, it's ridiculous. You should Google that after this stream.
Who had written a column in the New York Times about how it should be okay to have sex with underage girls, okay? You don't call him a groomer, but you'll call our educators who have done nothing wrong, just want to create an environment that's welcoming to all students. You'll call them groomers, you'll defame them as some sort of sexual predators,
groomers.
and it's
I call them
unacceptable.
sick,
Just
but
being
not
clear
groomers.
about that.
I've never called them groomers. You have the wrong guy. But a teacher that has the kids in kindergarten attend a drag queen story hour.
Who cares? This bill was talking about drag queens and saying that you know, acting like they're stripping in front of these children. That's what it said, like stripping. They're reading books.
To see a guy in a dress dancing erotically in front of them, those teachers,
dude, they don't dance erotically. It's a story hour.
Are what we would have called 10 years ago sick. They are depriving children of sexual innocence, and if that's not a sin on the left needs to do a lot of introspection.
I would love for you to apply standards like that to the former president of the United States, who you supported, who you endorsed. You have completely minimized some of the scandals that he was involved in, including paying hush money to adult entertainers.
And he was on the plane to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
He had cheated on his pregnant wife with. I'm bringing that up because you have this weird standard when it comes to our educators, but no standards when it comes to a person who leads the country, who children look to as a role model. But anyway, we only have a few more minutes left.
No. If you throw out a point, you have to allow me to respond.
Okay, go ahead. We're running out of time. We have a hard out, so go ahead.
When I was a child, my father didn't say to me, I want you to look to Lyndon Johnson as a role model. This notion that
What?
the president's private life, John F. Kennedy had orgies at the White House.
The president is not a role model. Obama was not a role model for young black children. I'm gonna do the rest of the stream like this.
Okay, do you speak about that? I don't care about presidents' private lives, you do. I care about sexualizing children, you don't.
I care about fighting back against lies.
You can tell she's pissed, dude. She's pissed.
Regarding educators sexualizing children. That is not happening, but you guys do love to defame educators who are already underpaid, undervalued, and should be treated a lot better in this country. So I would love to continue this conversation. Unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Okay,
I'd love to invite you to our members only bonus episode if you're willing to stay for another 30 minutes. I don't know if you're open to that.
Okay. Yeah, I am.
Fantastic. Okay, great.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it.
It's Cheng. Jesus Christ. Okay. Wow. Well, yeah, I guess that's the end of the debate. So, man, that got pretty heated at the end. I have to say, I think the bringing up the Trump might have been a little bit whataboutism there, but I see what she was saying. And she made a lot of good points. You know, I know that, like I said, on a Kasparian, there's been definitely things I don't agree with her before. You know, her monologue about, yeah, I am better than you. I'm much better than you. You are garbage. Okay, you are garbage. Classic. But she's a passionate person. You know what I mean? She gets excited. But I mean, you know, she clearly won this debate, I think. I pretty much agreed with all of the points she made, and she really seemed to have him flustered, turning red and embarrassed. It was very Hovindian, you know what I mean? And he seemed really mad by the end. I mean, both of them were, but she really kept her composure, you know, which is commendable. And you could tell she actually kind of held back because Uh, I think she knew like I have a limited amount of time. There's some things I want to nail him on, but there were so many things that he lied about, like saying that the left has more money than conservatives do, that like that he hates major corporations. Just so much bullshit. But I hope you guys like the stream. Thank you to all the people in the chat watching, and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I was able to hit 6,500 subscribers, and I have a little announcement. So on Monday afternoon, the new collaboration between me and Paulogia is going to be premiering on his channel. That's going to be, last year we did Dinosaur Scandal Land 2021. This is going to be the follow-up for the past 12 months. So that's going to be fun. And then after that video premieres, there's going to be an after show on this channel, on my channel, right after it ends. So the people in that live chat can hop over to my channel, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, we have a super chat for basically $2. And it says, do you think America is getting worse daily? I don't think it's getting worse daily. I think it's in a very tough spot right now. When it comes to the rights of people who can get pregnant and people who need access to abortion, I think it's at more of a crisis point than it's ever been. And that's why I think it's critical for these elections in November. I think it's really important for people, anybody watching this live stream, to get out and vote in those elections. If you live in Florida, I would absolutely recommend voting. Let's see, what is her name? Val Demings. She had a great debate against Marco Rubio. She absolutely scorched him on the abortion issue. Highly recommend voting for her. I think if you're in Texas, please vote for Beto O'Rourke. But I can't tell you who to vote for, but please get out and vote for the person that you think is the right candidate. We need people to participate. I do think America is in a bad state. I don't think it's getting worse every day, but if a ton of Republicans gain seats or win in this next election, then yes, it will get worse daily. So that is my answer. But yeah, fuck Matt Powell. I'm wearing my Emma Thorne merch, so that's cool. Yeah, and if you want to support my videos past liking and subscribing, you can go to patreon.com/atheistjunior. Pledge as little as $1 per month. If you want to support me directly, you can donate to me on PayPal. The address is ajsatx@gmail.com. And yeah, I'll just see you guys in the next